Oh, thanks for that. I am just about to switch over to the PowerPoint and get underway. So just bear with me for a minute. Or maybe 2 minutes. Okay, so welcome everybody. I am really excited to share with you all today, and thank you for joining me. And for those of you that were registered for the presentation, which was originally scheduled for yesterday, you will be receiving this in a recording, so welcome to you as well. We're going to have a little discussion together around emotions and essential oils today, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to share this with you. So for people that are new to essential oils, just a little introduction to essential oils, where they come from, that they come from the plant, from the material of the plants. They can come from buds, seeds, stem. They can come from the flowers. Plants produce essential oils as a protection against environmental threats. And when we use essential oils, we receive similar health benefits. So they're a very natural way to support our body. And when we're looking at emotional support, the two ways to use the essential oils with the most benefit is aromatically. What we breathe in affects our mood, while it's also purifying the air, and topically. So topically diluted for sensitive skin with a safe carrier like fractionated coconut oil. Apply it to the back of the neck, behind the ears, pulse points, over the heart, or on the soles of your feet are the best ways to use the essential oils. So our wonderful moods and memories can be linked to an experience with aroma. And often essential oils are referred to as the soul of the plant. So I love that connection between that, the soul of the plant, the soul of us, and the high frequency energy in its concentrated form from essential oils is often used in combination with other healing modalities for releasing and supporting our emotional responses. So from massage, touch, psychology, oils can be diffused or applied topically and may support our body to reclaim or release memories, emotions, rejected or forgotten feelings, and begin the journey with our emotional wellness. Essential oils are powerful elixirs for shifting emotions, and they can support us with hormonal balance, responses to our anxious feelings with moods. They can support our psyche as well. Aroma can support our state of being and the connection to more, the depth that is beyond the mundane or the seen, to the layers that make up our complex self. Complex and naturally occurring chemical constituents in the essential oils, when they're incorporated into our daily habits, they can support at times when we're disheartened, fearful, lonely, or undergoing changes that amplify our emotional responses and or our anxiety. So what areas of your life do you want to bring in balance, grounding? Is, you know, somewhere where you maybe want to look for change? What oils are you drawn to? what aromas do you like? Are you mainly drawn to subtle, gentle aromas, to more potent and powerful aromas? Because these can kind of indicate for us whereabouts we're ready on our emotional journey to go, whether we're still gently peeling back some layers or we're ready to dive in deep and clarify something, release something, let it go, bring something in. Asking ourselves what areas are we struggling with at the moment can also be a good way to support. So please feel free, if you'd like to share, to unmute yourself at this point and to share or to type messages into the chat box or send me a message privately so I can reach out and support you. We'll also have a little question and answer at the end of the presentation. So if you'd rather keep it till then, we can do that as well. So always where do you start when you're on an emotional journey, when you're looking to clarify or clear in your life? Knowing where to begin first. So, and understanding that emotions are normal, healthy responses to living. It's perfectly natural to get upset, feel frustrated and stressed out at times. Our bodies are designed to react to life circumstances, both emotionally and physically, and that's what they're doing. You know, the main task of an essential oil, hang on just a minute, I just think someone's in the waiting room, and I'm going to try and let them in. So yeah, the main task of an essential oil in a plant is to organise and enable communication within the plant system, within the plant life, to protect it and to repair it. And with essential oils, they can also activate this within our bodies as well. Citrus oils, for example, they're very familiar to us. They are also very joyful. They support us when self-doubt occurs, and also to release energies and let things go, or sometimes if we're picking up something and it's kind of, you know, impacting on our own emotional responses. Something I like about essential oils, what I love about essential oils really is that the sense of smell has often been linked to our sixth sense, our intuition. And because of that, using our intuition to guide us with which essential oil to use is a great way to sorry, just admitting a couple of people into the presentation. Apologies for those that are just joining us. If you're waiting a little while in the waiting room, I was getting to it, but trying to multitask at the same time. So we've really just basically covered over what essential oils are, how they interplay in the natural environment with plants, and how they act as a communicator within the plant as well, to protect it and support and help it to heal. And they also interplay with our bodies in the same way. And we're also just sharing that, firstly, the first thing with emotional well-being is to recognise that emotions are normal, healthy responses to our living. It's perfectly natural to get upset at times, to feel frustrated, stressed out. Our emotions are normal responses to triggers, to memories, to events, to experiences, to what's going on. And you know, just finding ways to release and express and acknowledge our emotions is a positive step in our emotional well-beings. Our bodies are designed to react to life's circumstances, both emotionally and physically. So we're just going to discuss a few of the essential oils for particular emotional situations that might arise. For example, essential oils to support anxious feelings, for example, lavender is known for promoting relaxation. Bergamot improves our memory patterns. Our memory recall has a lot of interlinked with our emotional responses as well, with the triggers that we talk about and things like that in good ways as well as in challenging ways. Balance, which is one that I love to use all the time. I think everybody could do with a bottle of Balance. Evokes our feelings of tranquility, our groundedness, and that groundedness brings us back to balance. That's what balance is. It's feeling our feet on the ground, knowing where we are, where we stand, feeling fully in our body and not, you know, as if parts of us are still in the past, in the future, stuck in a memory or, you know, any of those kind of things. Vetiver, again, one of the ones that helps with grounding and relaxation. It's good to help us with sleep as well. Sleep naturally is a great healer for our emotional well-being also. Ylang ylang can help to calm a rapid heartbeat. This is where balance can also be useful at those times if something suddenly kind of, you know, messes with our equilibrium. Balance, ylang ylang can help to kind of just like soothe and seal and smooth and bring back to balance our breathing, our heart rate, all of those kind of things that, you know, raise the cortisol level in our bodies at times of anxiety. Adaptive as well, reassurance in times of tension. Roman chamomile is very soothing to the systems of the body. So as we were saying earlier, with essential oils and, you know, with our emotional healings, they can be catalysts for change. They can bring balance, grounding. You know, we need to sort of ask ourselves first, what do we want from essential oils? What are we drawn to? Is it the subtle layers of an emotional release that we're looking for at the moment, or are we ready to dive in and, you know, and just clear the way? There's different times and we're all different in our ways of looking at our emotional well-being. When we're using essential oils, we can refer them to how they work in the plant kingdom, that they organise and enable the communication, they protect and they repair, and they can also activate this within our own chemistry. They're very complex, naturally occurring chemical constituents in essential oils, and we can use them to be incorporated into our daily habits and support us at times when we're feeling or going through changes or feeling things that are, you know, not uplifting for us or are not allowing us to feel motivated and passionate and, you know, driven towards our path, driven towards peace, all of those kind of things. Because of the high frequency energy of essential oils, when they're used in combination with other modalities for healing, releasing or supporting emotional responses, such as massage, touch, or even in psychology, oils diffused or applied topically may support the body to reclaim or release memories and emotions rejected or forgotten and begin our journey into emotional wellness. So, you know, we could be looking at focus, at attention, at concentration, all of these I guess responses in our brain can be altered at times when we're also dealing with challenges in our emotional well-being. So citrus oils, lemon is a great one. Lemon is a great one for focus. It's also a great cleanser. It has an ability to bring in that uplifting sense. Citrus oils are very familiar to us. They're also very joyful, and they can support us at times when self-doubt occurs and when we want to release energies as well. So the herbaceous oils like basil and rosemary support calming the mind so that focus is possible while they're also invigorating, and they can support us to get things done. So those times when we've got a lot going on in the emotional compartment of our brain, and we can't actually focus on the task at hand. And it's really, really hard to shift this. Just using the essential oil of a citrus oil in a daily, or throughout the day, or having it throughout the day, like a lemon oil, putting it on those areas of the bodies that we talked about earlier for emotional well-being, like behind the back of the neck, behind the ears, on pulse points, back of the feet, soles of the feet, over the heart. They are immensely charging areas of the body to release emotional debris that we might be carrying around, or energies that we want to release so that we can move forward. As we said, these are feelings that we all have, and sometimes in our world or our conditioning, different aspects that we work in, whether it's our work, whether back in school, maybe during childhood, and all sorts of times, we have been taught that frustration, agitation, all of those kind of things, we shouldn't actually have those feelings. We should be level and balanced and calm all the time. Well, that's really unrealistic. We are going to feel frustrated at different times. We're going to have agitation. It's just, really what we do with it and how we respond to it. And acknowledging it first in the body is a good step to be able to, manage in the best way these feelings of frustration, agitation, be able to talk to someone about it, or, realise it's time to go for a walk or do some physical activity or something like that. That helps us to release it and bring in, a state where we can have maybe a better response than if we try and keep it down, that's when it gets out of control, and something just is the last trigger that sets us off, and then, sort of watch out, doors get slammed, things like that could happen. This is something that recently, and also during my days working with very small children with family and children's services, is something that we need to start incorporating from younger ages, even with our babies, with our children, that we're not, that we redirect them to an activity that they can express what they're feeling without having to hold it down and contain it. Like, it's not bad to be feeling these feelings. It's what we do with these feelings. For instance, we used to say to children, I can see that you want to hit something. Let's go find a ball, or, a bat and a ball, or something like that. Let's get this physical activity happening and release these feelings. It's not the feeling itself that we need to contain. It's a response to the feeling. So some of the oils there that can help at times are the beautiful woods, the cedar wood, again, to bring us grounded back into our body. so that we hear and we're centered and we can relate to what it is that's frustrating or agitating, and put some steps into play to be able to respond to it in a more positive way and release it as well. Clary Sage, you know, it helps to clear the mental clutter that comes in when we're frustrated and maybe we can't stop thinking about the thing that is frustrating us. It just keeps turning over and over in our mind. Frankincense, that beautiful sense of truth in frankincense, that wonderful, nourishing and, you know, supportive, loving energy of frankincense, as well as myrrh and cypress to help move it through and get us into flow again. Just one second. Yeah, so naturally all of us have experienced in big ways, in small ways, in many ways, grief. Grief is something that we're learning a lot about in our Western society, and we're learning more and more to honour it and to own it and to realise that, you know, it's not only and always about the loss of loved ones, even though it can be that, and that is a huge impact on our lives. It can be the loss, the small losses that we have on a daily basis when things change, when we're growing, we're getting older, when maybe our work life's changing, our businesses are changing, our homes are changing, children are growing up, any of those kind of things, friends move away, you know, we go through these births and rebirths, these deaths and rebirths all the time. It's what life is about, our cells constantly changing. We're not the person we were in many, many ways, like last year or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, you know, all of these kind of things. We suddenly realise we've got to let go of our child a little more and send them to school, or, you know, see them get married or have a baby, you know, and become a grandparent. There's so many, many ways. And these are happy, joyful occasions, but they often do bring in this combination of joy and happiness, of also change, of loss, of letting something go to allow something to come in. You know, as we know with everything that we experience in our life, we have to move something out of the way in order to allow something to come in. And this is part of the process with the grieving process. And we experience grief in very subtle ways, a lot more than we kind of acknowledge. And I remember when these beautiful emotional oils were first introduced to me, I loved and was drawn to the passion oil first, I must say. I must just put that little plug in there. But sometime later, it was Console that I really needed to have with me a lot. And I didn't really even know why. I didn't know what it was that I was consoling myself with, but I just knew the comfort that I got from having this Console, and I had it with me all the time. I would smell it often throughout the day when I was just drawn to bring it out of my bag and use it. And, you know, that releasing of emotional burdens, and maybe there were things that had been built up over my lifetime for a long, long time. They can be recent things that happen, but that process of working through in that way. I love the forgive as well. You know, the lesson, the journey in our life's journey as we work through our emotional stuff and all of our baggage and all of the things, we realise that we have to find forgiveness for ourselves first. if we can find forgiveness for ourselves, for being human, having feelings, having normal responses and emotions, then we can work towards having that compassion for others as well. And for realizing that, you know, there are times when we have a good day, when we're balanced and grounded and our responses are great. And there are other days when we are not so grounded, not so balanced, and our responses are not so great. So, you know, all of that comes into play with forgive. Neroli is another beautiful one that kind of just centers and supports the nervous system, which is obviously impacted whenever we're having an emotional time or emotional day, emotional response. Healer Krisham is known as the healer of emotional pain, of deep. When we go deep, that's when we want to reach into these really powerful emotional healers like Healer Krisham and Rose. And Rose is one that unfortunately we can get this beautiful rose touch that's diluted with the fractionated coconut oil already, this beautiful perfume that we can apply to those areas, the pulse points, over the heart, behind the back of the neck, behind the ears, any of those kind of things, that divine love, that healer of heart wounds that sometimes we don't even know what they are, because they might be so deeply entrenched in us, or so long ago, or so kind of in an interplay of other things that happened, and where we're, you know, sort of looking at the focus of this happened, that happened, but not also acknowledging the, you know, the small emotional grieving things that come up on a day-to-day, on an everyday basis. So also, I don't know about you guys, but waking up in the morning, isn't it beautiful when you wake up and you're like, oh, it's a new day, it's a beautiful day. What am I going to do with this day? You know, here I am, this gift of this day. I love that my granddaughter does this. Sometimes when she's staying with us and she sleeps in my bed and she wakes up and it's daylight and she's like, Grandma, it's morning. And, you know, it teaches me that, wow, you know, if I could tackle the day like that, maybe not every day, but some days, you know, and last week I kind of tried that. I got to Wednesday, and Wednesday's like, I mean, I love Mondays, I love Fridays, the days in between. Later, I don't always wake up with the, oh, here we are, we've got it again. So I tried it on Wednesday. I'm like, Wednesday, this is my Wednesday, this is my beautiful day. And just to see if just jumping out of bed like that changes the mood. But I do love ginger, and I often will start my day with ginger, with a ginger tea. Ginger tears and grounds. Peppermint is also an amazing one. Peppermint, I've heard, is like the emotional band-aid. When we can't do anything else, we just can't like even chip away the layers, or definitely we can't dive in deep. We just need to just cover the band-aid over until we're in a place where we can actually deal with our emotional stuff. Then peppermint is the one to go to, and to help over that time, you know, until we are strong enough to be able to deal with whatever the triggers are that's happening. Eucalyptus as well, that oil of wellness, improves our mental alertness. It's a great distiller of, you know, kind of like drawing things to ourselves in a negative way sometimes, if we're constantly doing that, because we know, you know, that in the past, this would happen, and that would happen, and then that would happen. And we kind of preempt sometimes energetically that, okay, so when we go there, it's going to be challenging because when I've gone there before, this happened, that happened, now this is going to happen. These are the kind of, you know, almost mental tricks we play on ourselves, kind of self-sabotage almost. And it's times like that that eucalyptus can help to turn that around and go, well, hang on, that did happen. What did I learn from this, and how can I do it differently this way? You know, I know that if that happens and that happens, then I get triggered in this way. So I'm going to support myself and breathe deeply and do my work and then respond when I'm ready, not in the immediate moment, because in the immediate moment, I know my response will be this because that's how it has been in the past. But now moving forward, I'm going to do it in a different way, if that makes sense. Of course, all of the citruses, the citrus oils with those beautiful energies of releasing our toxins, clearing and clarifying the mind, bringing that zing and zest in, you know, they're beautiful ones to wake us up in the morning. And rosemary as well. Rosemary energizes and activates the brain. So if our brain's feeling energized and activated and not clogged up and churning around with too many leftover emotions and thoughts, which we can release before we go to bed in the morning, which will help us to wake up better the next day as well, which we're going to go through sleep a little bit in a minute, but that's just a thought for there. So I mentioned earlier that the sense of smell has been linked to our sixth sense, or our intuition, and the way that happens is through our nose, which our nose contains millions of neurons that catch these odor molecules. That's why breathing something in has that amazing capacity to direct the emotional response to the and send the odors to the emotional center of our brain, and to send that communication there. So yeah, just some essential oils that also will help to increase your confidence if you're going into something and you just feel, excuse me, I just need to have a drink of water. Grapefruit for its beautiful honouring of our physical presence, bergamot for self-acceptance, cypress for flow, jasmine to invite pure intent in. We're going into a situation perhaps that has been challenging in the past, or we feel maybe, invite that pure intent. Use the essential oils with the intention and the expectation of what you're going to put out into the energy field of what you can bring in. And wild orange, of course, for its abundance and cheerfulness. When we're going into something and we need a little bit of a pep up or some more confidence to go forward with that, any of those oils, you know, again, just asking yourself, what's showing up for you personally? What is it that you want to increase confidence with? And then just going with that in a combination or in with the single oils as well. Of course, when we are going through emotional situations, or we've been triggered, or you know, there's something repressed in us emotionally, any of those kind of things, we may turn to some kind of craving or addiction. So not making any judgments here on what these are, because I feel like there are times when we all have something. Hopefully it's a more helpful craving or addiction, like needing to have a soak in water in the bath or something like that. would be more helpful than a plate full of donuts or something else. But there are times when we're just our body, our mind, our soul, our spirit is tired. Our emotions are crowding in on us. And the only way to comfort ourselves is to go to something that we found comforting in the past. And that's really the essence, I suppose, of what cravings and addictions are. So without judging what that craving or what that addiction is, but to just look into that the essential oils can support us so that we can, you know, have control over our emotional responses and support ourselves in a way that's going to help us to release and sorry, just thought there was somebody coming in, but yeah, so, you know, you can try black pepper, may reduce cigarette cravings. Lavender, of course, releases that mental energy that and unexpressed emotions. Placing lavender across the throat as well can help us to express feelings and, you know, something that we've held down and not been able to express. Bergamot may support with emotional eating, grapefruit as well. The blend of Smart and Sassy is designed to support us when we get cravings to emotionally eat. Lemon improves circulation, detoxifies, and may support us if we have alcohol cravings at times of overwhelming emotions. You know, those overwhelming, cramped-in emotions that we haven't been taught to find a better response for. In our Western society, it's been that instantaneous comfort or that instantaneous kind of healing support that has brought us overwhelmingly to have cravings or addictions. And when we're supporting people in their emotional health and emotional well-being, you know, without judgment, we can help them to realize this and to identify it for themselves and to identify and acknowledge that this happens for most people when they're dealing with a lot of emotional stuff. It's just that the cravings or the addictions might be different for different people, and not having the judgment on what that craving is, but the support around how to, you know, help them to respond in a different way and to feel supported emotionally in a different way so they don't have to reach to these ways of managing emotions. So with the diffusing of the essential oils at this, you know, at this time when people maybe are not ready to dive in deep like we talked about in the beginning, but it's more subtle, you know, just having a diffuser going to relax the mind and body, improve mental clarity, may even just change up the response instead of going to the whole plate of donuts, for example. Might just take a couple of bites and realize that that's not going to solve the emotional challenge. So yeah, you know, there's so many amazing ways that we can also support ourselves with, as we mentioned before, using the essential oils in combination with modalities. So in combination with massage, the essential oils can help to support that communication through the cellular memory, to send that communication through our body to the psychological response. The smell triggers our immediate physiological, psychological responses and that travel directly to the brain. So in the psyche, they can exact emotional, motivational, imaginative concepts, memories. Essential oils can promote positivity, elevate mood, and they can raise our consciousness. So if we, for example, are using aromatherapy within modalities or within mindfulness, for example, we could just use a essential oil of that we're intuitively guided to for a soak in a bath, for instance, with some relaxing music, and just turn down all the emotional chatter, all the responses that are happening in the body and in the mind at a time of emotional stress, and just take that soak in the bath, not focusing so much on what is the answer to this issue or this challenge or this trigger or this, emotional occurrence for me right now, or how can I release this in this moment, but just focusing on bringing in calm, bringing in grounding, taking a moment out of space and time. And we can do this also with yoga, meditation, breath work, any kind of spiritual practice that we might have. So anything that's yoga, for example, is an integration of body, mind, and spirit. And so is a lot of other spiritual practices and modalities as well. If we are practicing mindfulness, intentional, spiritual, soulful practices with essential oils, that has an amazing benefit towards connecting us back to ourselves, connecting us back to honouring of our body, mind, soul, our spirit, our path, our way forward. I love these oils designed particularly for yoga, but any kind of mindfulness as well as a daily practice with Arise, which is that meet life, be in acceptance to notice the fullness of each day, Align, a reminder of self-awareness to live in generosity of self and others, and Anchor, trust and find centre to ground in knowing yourself, and frankincense, of course. So we mentioned sleep before as a big connection in our emotional well-being practices and daily habits. So setting ourselves up for a good night's sleep, for a restful night's sleep, is going to support us immensely with our emotional well-being. And these oils here are all very supportive for, producing that chemical interplay and preparedness for a blissful, healing and regenerative night's sleep, which changes a lot of things for us emotionally. Emotionally very difficult to communicate in the brain how to have a better response to triggers if we are lacking in a good night's sleep. So all of these oils here, lavender peace, lavender, vetiver, cedarwood, sandalwood, clary sage, immensely supportive for producing that relaxation in the mind, in the body, and giving us that opportunity to have good quality sleep. Not a disturbed night's sleep, but really good quality sleep, which we know when we wake up and we have had good quality sleep, how we just feel very different in body, mind, and spirit. So a couple of things to also consider when we're looking at our emotional well-being is to determine what is actually causing the stress. Of course, when we're ready for this, when we're ready, it is a layering process, knowing where we are actually. There may be it may just be that something's occurring, we're not 100% sure what's causing it. So then just look at, okay, supporting ourselves with some of the grounding oils like balance, like vetiver, like cedarwood or frankincense. Learning to say no is a difficult one for many of us. And I had to work through this process. It took me a long time, actually. But yeah, you know, being comfortable with saying no, you know, and some of the ways to support yourself with saying no is to say, well, you know, if I say yes to this, I'm saying no to something else. So what am I really saying no to? Am I saying no to my self-care? I say no to this. Am I saying no to my emotional well-being? You know, what am I saying no to if I say yes to the thing? Is one way to support yourself. Determine your personal boundaries as well. This is very empowering for people that are working through emotional stresses and anxiety, is to determine their personal boundaries. If they're not okay with being hugged, that, you know, it's okay to say, you know, to put that distance there. Or, you know, if they don't want people to just drop in without being announced or any of those kind of things, to kind of put that boundary around there. Whatever it is for people, it's different for everybody. But if you can determine for yourself what your personal boundaries are, it could just be, you know, like some of the things we've been talking about on the community pages, the 5 love languages, and that way of how you interpret quality relationships, and being aware of that when somebody gives you their full and undivided attention and they listen to you and they hear you and respond back to you, then that could be the thing. Or, you know, the quality time, any of those kind of things, like what is it that you really need for yourself in your personal relationships, and including, you know, what do you not need, which is, you know, something to take into consideration with determining your personal boundaries as well. Prioritizing things that are most meaningful to you is a really big one, one that all of us can take some time with. And it's something that we've been challenged a little bit with all the changes that have been happening recently in the world. And it has helped us in some ways to prioritise things that are most meaningful. Things that just don't matter that we used to do before, or things that we can't do now that we realise, well, okay, that's okay. Actually might not pick that back up again. You know, that sort of thing. Detoxifying our life, you know, simplifying our home, detoxifying our home as well, improving our lifestyle habits. And of course, those 3 down there, eliminating caffeine, sugar and alcohol can also support us with our emotional health and getting rid of toxins from the body as well. So taking control for yourself and being the boss of your own moods. As we've mentioned before, the smells trigger immediate responses that travel through the olfactory and limbic systems to the right brain hemisphere. And those aromatic scents can elevate us beyond the basic instincts. So our triggers, our responses in emotional, stressful times and times of anxiety, that's our basic instincts. And there's not to say anything's wrong with having those basic instincts, but to be able to evolve, if you like, into that acknowledgement and recognition of perhaps the frustration, the anger, the triggers, and then into the higher functions of, well, okay, so that's how I feel, this is how I'll respond. or that's how I feel. I'm not ready to respond now. I'm going to take care of myself first and then respond. And take care of yourself by doing some physical activity, by using the essential oils, by taking some time out, having some space, talking to a friend first or talking to someone else first, and then coming back to the trigger is a good way to support yourself. We've mentioned diffusing a lot, and diffusing is an awesome way to support our emotional well-being, because, you know, at times when we are really struggling, we might not actually, you know, even go to the intuitive, you know, intuitively guide ourselves to what we might need. There's times when anxiety comes in, when we can actually doubt our intuitive, our gut instincts, and we can go, well, is that my fear coming up? Is that really my intuition? You know, or what's happening here? So at times like that, we can support ourselves with just, you know, honing into, okay, so I'm not really feeling grounded. I'm all over the place. I'm going to pop something of a tree oil or a citrus to cleanse or something like that into the diffuser. Or, you know, frankincense. When in doubt, use frankincense for everything. So diffusing essential oils sets a mood and the atmosphere. It calms and soothes anxiety, promotes a healthy breathing responses, which our breathing is also part of the communication system of network that happens when we have an emotional response, and our breathing can also be altered. It relaxes us, sedates in the bedroom to promote sleep, which is very important for our emotional well-being, and also creates that spiritual ambience to support meditation, yoga, or any aspects of mindfulness that we might need. So we talked about this a little bit, our emotional response process, and without judgment, if we can just look at this is what happens. We see, smell, taste, hear, feel and experience thought or memory. We have an interpretation of that. Our interpretation is influenced, if you like, from our previous experiences, previous memories. And then we have an emotional response. The brain compares its interpretation with the experience and determines an appropriate emotional response. Actually, that makes me feel really angry. That makes me feel really fearful. That makes me happy. Any of those kind of things. And then that, again, introduces the chemical response. The brain releases chemicals to match the emotion that's determined and that physical response that have been triggered there. So that's where that interplay of bringing some calm, bringing some, you know, balanced breathing into our body can help with that communication between the trigger and the response. So the emotions wheel and the emotions kit, which I mentioned before, are beautifully put together so that at times when, you know, there are times when our intuition is compromised because we have so much emotion going on, so much anxiety going on, that we actually can't so much trust our gut feeling. And this is where I love these oils, you know, where we can just sense into console. So I need to console myself. I'm not 100% sure about anything else, but I just need consoling. I'm just going to smell this console throughout the day. I'm going to just put this console on the bottoms of my feet when I go to bed at night time. And then that's going to take me somewhere else, you know. And, you know, peace. Is there agitation? Is there frustration? Is there uncertainty? Is there some, you know, overthinking of something? Where do I need peace? Motivate, when we're just kind of like in that cravings, comfort food, binge watching television or something like that kind of emotional state. And we need, you know, to get some motivate, to maybe just move us forward just a little step, baby steps, step by step, day by day, hour by hour sometimes. Cheer, when we just feel that there's a grey cloud hanging over us. And passion, when we want to move into our, fully into our purpose and inspiring. And forgive, of course, you know, forgive, console. Let's think about forgive and console as, you know, daily blessings, daily releasing, the daily letting go, you know, working through the process of the change, the ever-evolving change. That's the life that we're in. So naturally we have these. We have these to support our sleep. We have the gorgeous packaged, curated boxes, our wellness boxes, which is 20% off up until midday on the 1st of June. And they're great value at any given time, actually. And they hold that lavender peace, the beautiful peace touch, the balanced grounding blend, cedarwood, vetiver, all of those oils that we've been talking about to support us with grounding, with deep, that sense of relaxation, of quieting the mind and allowing us to have that beautiful and blissful calm down time and that deep and good quality sleep. The seasonal wellness pack, which, the emotional wellness starter pack, which also has that balance in. So balance is something everybody, particularly now, with all the changes that we're going through on a pretty regular basis, balance is something that we all need. Elevation has that beautiful high vibration combination to really uplift and to move us from basically from a pessimistic outlook on something to an optimistic outlook. So instead of, you know, like putting out the energy, if we're going into something and we're putting out the energy of like, oh, it's a drag, or it might not be successful, or I'll be challenged, or this happened, that happened, that's going to happen, changing that mindset. One whiff of elevation will definitely do this. The lavender peace, of course, to help with supporting our sleep, and the citrus bliss, that invigorating combination of citrus in there, and the adaptive blend, which works on our emotional responses and supporting our psyche in that way. We've mentioned the emotional aromatherapy pack. So in the 5 mils, they are in their fully concentrated forms. You can get them in the touch where they're already diluted as well. And these are the go-to. Okay, so what do I need? I need console. I need peace. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive someone else. I need uplifting. I need cheer. I need to be motivated. I'm not motivated. You know, I need passion. So it kind of simplifies and I think this is so powerful and perhaps underplayed, that when we're dealing with emotions, we are just so all over the place that we can't even bring ourselves at times to support ourselves, let alone to think about, you know, if I eat right and I change my diet, and if I go and exercise, and if I talk to a friend And if I clean out my cupboards and I detoxify my home and I clean the bathroom and all that, I'm going to feel better. That's okay. If it's a big job to even get up during the day and go through the processes, probably not going to be thinking about all this yet. And at these times, this is just like a simplified go-to of, okay, so I just need to be consoled today. I'm going to take that console with me wherever I go. I'm putting it on, I'm using it, I'm smelling it whenever I need it. And then after consoling myself, I might go to, okay, I need peace, I need to switch off the mind when I'm going to sleep. The next day I might wake up and feel like I'm ready to forgive. I want to forgive me or someone else. I'm going to wear this forgive. We might then move on to wanting to feel motivated, wanting to feel uplifted, using motivate and cheer to move us through. And then at some point of time go, I'm ready to go back into my path, into my purpose, into my work, into, you know, finding what it is that I'm passionate about, into integrating that into my life. And then we go with passion. And it's just that beautiful ability to simplify really what it is, that emotional combination that will help and support us to move forward. So there are things that are never too late to reclaim, never ever too late. So our body, our tenderness, the earth, our dream, our roots, our story, our strength, perception and heart, because they have always belonged to you. And that's our emotional journey. That's the journey that we're on, isn't it? Always trying to incorporate all the changes, all the learnings, all the passions, all the peace, all of the reactions, and yeah, to make sense of it and to be able to go forward and to learn more. I'm just going to stop sharing and then I can come to some questions. And yes, thank you everyone for sharing today, and for giving this time to yourself and acknowledging your emotional well-being, your presence, your spirit, your soul, and the connection that we all have here to support and help each other along this journey. So aromatherapy gives us wonderful tools in our daily practice and in our everyday habits that can serve us in our journey to understanding and acknowledging and embracing ourselves, and understanding and observing and accepting the way we respond in certain situations as well, and how we can support ourselves in those ways and in those circumstances, times of triggering, times of emotional stimulus that might come in spontaneously or might have been with us for a long time. Applying the essential oils topically can become a natural ritual that supports us to turn around a negative thought or an emotional trigger that is disempowering to us into a positive mindset or an acceptance, an acknowledgement, and finding a more positive and proactive response to our emotional situation. I just want to remind you again of the amazing ability we have in our intuitive way of choosing the essential oils, and also to just acknowledge that our intuitive responses, although they are awesome, at times they can be compromised if we're in a state of anxiety. So this is where I find the the beautiful oils that we've talked about, the chia and the passion and the forgive and the beautiful console and peace, which they also come in these amazing touch roll-ons that are already diluted and able to be simply just applied to areas of the body where we're looking to support our emotional wellness. So just behind the ears here, back of neck, and our pulse points, and also just above the heart, bottoms of feet are areas to place these beautiful oils. And, you know, if we know that there's something that we need to console, we can reach for our console. If we're feeling that it's a time to forgive and bring forgiveness in for self to others, we can reach for forgive. We can reach for the motivate or the cheer at times when we just need a little bit more pep in our day to get us through the action steps to keep us moving. And passion, of course, when we're on the journey towards our purpose, which our path, our finding our drive, our spirit, our soul, all of those kind of things. And it'll be different, as we discussed today and heard from some of the people also on the class. It moves in a different way. There's no do this step, do this step, do this step. It's kind of an ebb and flow. It's, you know, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 5 steps back. It's the cycle. It's our experiences, our everyday living. And, you know, these oils can be with us every day to help support us in that way. Sometimes we can have immediate support, and relief is often felt with the aromatic use of the essential oils in just a moment. And I've seen it, you know, quite often. The beautiful balance, which I'm trying to find, where is it gone to? Here somewhere, disappeared. The beautiful balance oil. That's not balance. Where are you, balance? So which also comes in the touch as well as in the bottle. I was looking for the bottle just to aromatically show you that just breathing in, diffusing, or just breathing them in that way, it can have a real immediate response and support to us, especially if we've just experienced an event that's emotionally disturbing or emotionally disrupted our thought, our emotional compass. To aromatically just bring that into your system is an immediate support. And I do wholeheartedly recommend that. But also I recommend that to remember that our journey is our own, and it takes time to reset our emotional compass at times, especially if experienced long-term unsettling emotional conditions or conditioning. So go gently, reach out to people you love and trust. Embrace the small everyday steps towards emotional wellness, and definitely reach out if you need support, and or if you'd like to know anything more about the essential oils. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a beautiful what's left of the Sunday, and yeah, wishing you all balance and emotional wellness. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.